Bites. I'm Abby Kipfer, dietitian at Windom Area Health, and today you're going to learn a little bit more about one of my favorite things, spaghetti squash. You might be familiar with butternut squash or acorn squash, but this is a little bit different. Spaghetti squash can sometimes be a little bit intimidating for people. Like other squash, spaghetti squash has an incredibly hard outside shell. So one of my tips is when you're going to cook it is actually to wash it off, poke some holes in it with a knife, and then put it in the microwave for about 5 to 6 minutes. That really helps to soften and it starts the cooking process a little bit. And then there are different ways to cook it, but I usually then cook it in half and I cook it in the oven. So you can see we have all this seed stuff, and we will just use a spoon, or you can use your fingers just to scrape it out. And so I have one that I kind of already started on getting some of the seeds out. And so you can just easily scrape it all out. So like I said, there's different ways to cook it. You can cook it in the oven whole, or you can cook it in the oven half. I know people have cooked them in the crock pot. I haven't tried that before, and you can also cook the whole thing in the microwave as well. In my opinion, I really like the consistency when you bake it in half in the oven. So you can see I have my one half I have scooped out with all the seeds. It's getting ready so it can go in the oven. And so I just have just a little bit of olive oil that I'll just spread a little bit on the inside, just enough to kind of help the cooking process. So get it prepared, and you can either put it on the baking sheet with the cut side up, or you can put the cut side down. I think if you leave the cut side down, it turns out a little bit better because it gets that moisture. It doesn't get dried out as much. So there I have my spaghetti squash upside down. I'll get the seeds out of this one, and we'll get it in the oven around 350 to about 40 to 60 minutes. So we'll pop them in the oven, and we'll be back. Okay, so I got my spaghetti squash out of the oven. Again, bake it about 40 to 60 minutes, and you're gonna wanna cook it until it's fork tender. And what I mean by that is with spaghetti squash, the crazy thing about it is it actually has a stringy consistency. So you just have to take a fork and just go along the edges, and you can see, you're just gonna use the fork and scrape out the whole squash, and you can see how it becomes into like spaghetti pieces. It's so cool. You can use it as an alternative to spaghetti. You can eat it with like marinara sauce. I know I've done like a taco bake. You can do it with pesto. It's a great substitute, like you were gonna use it for pasta. It's about 30 calories a cup, which is about a quarter of the calories as regular pasta. So it's a great alternative, and it's a good way to get some squash in your diet. So hopefully you're able to make some spaghetti squash at home. Thanks for joining.